Okay, so I know I said last episode that I would get started doing more Lost Quest maps, namely Buccaneer Bay, but I've changed my mind. I think I'm going to do the Lost Eternia Shards maps. And the reason for this is we need to unlock Crystalline Dimension to be able to unlock the Crystalline Resurgence maps for Eternal Defender. So we have to get these maps done, these 4 anyway. We have to do them at some point, so might as well get them out of the way earlier rather than later. So that's what we're going to do starting now. Starting with Misty Mire, we'll just go down the list. So yeah, let's get to it. You know what? I'll just quickly show off my stats before we probably get into it. They haven't changed since last episode, but maybe you haven't seen last episode, so here they are. I did go ahead and actually delete my old heroes, and because I'm not playing on them anymore, so also I've surpassed where they were with this current playthrough, so there's no reason to keep them around. And I sold all the items on them. That's why I have a bit more mana. Now if you think this is like cheating or whatever, because that gear wasn't obtained on this playthrough, then unlucky, I guess. Yeah, I went ahead and used some of that mana to upgrade this free-range chicken. Adept. You know what I could do? I mean, like, nah, it's not that big of a deal. It's like 15 billion mana or something. That you can make that much mana in a couple of Tinks runs. Not that big a deal. Okay, well, Misty Mire. I have not played this map in a very long time. So long, in fact, that this version seems like the weird one, or like the reskin, you know? I'm used to playing Winter Mire way more than this. So when I see normal Misty Mire, I'm just like, oh, it's Winter Mire, but without the snow. All of the Eternia Shards maps have these interactable guys that give you mana, a little bit of extra mana. It's actually quite a lot of extra mana. For Wintermire, it's these Shroomites. For Morogo, it's the donkeys. For Oquinos, it's the seahorses and snails, I think. I can't remember. I think one of the snails gives you mana. Some of them do, some of them don't. And then for Sky City, it's the propeller cats. Actually, I'm going to place this a little bit closer. The boss on this map is the Spider Queen, and she spawns right about there, so I think I'm just going to build on the bridge and kill her with towers. Do I care about these other auras not being buffed? I'll just put a couple of buff beams down, whatever. My stats are way overqualified for this, so can just do whatever, really. Which is my Tower Genie? Is it this one? Which one's better? I think we use this ultimate one. and upgrade it into tower stats. So, unfortunately, these Lost Quest maps aren't really going to have anything to offer us in terms of rewards. We're kind of out-geared these maps at this point in the game. The only one that could offer us anything is Sky City with the propeller cat. That's the only item that could really be useful to us now. Also, why does my game feel... this happens every time I play. My game feels much louder than it actually is. And that's because it is. There we go. Yeah, that's a bit more like it. I don't know how I do that. Sometimes my volume is just like way higher than I left it, and I don't know why. It wasn't really necessary that I had to go right up to him to mana bomb him, but let's sell one of those and get an extra DST in. Worked out pretty nicely. Yeah, my volume was way higher than it should have been. Ah yes, pesky spiders. This is the map that introduces spiders into the game. Unless you've been playing the game through like I have, in which case you start encounter spiders pretty early on. Just because Nightmare introduces all of the lost quest, or the lost shard. I'll just call them shard maps. I suppose if you were playing this on a difficulty lower than Nightmare, then this would be the first time you encountered spiders. But on Nightmare, you get all 4. Spiders for Misty Mire, Sharkans for Aquanos, Jinn for Morago, and Goblin Copters for Sky City. Maybe it would be better maybe it would be better to remove these electric auras and get some darkness traps down. Probably speed up the map a lot. They're so slow. I think I'm gonna do that. It's taking way too long for these mobs to die. Let's see if we can get one pretty close over here. And then over here, can we get it so it hits both of the spawns? Not really, no. that should help a decent amount. Darkness traps are going to strip the enemies of their elemental immunities. Basically just means that LTs can chain to every enemy across the map instead of just the non-electric resistant ones, I should say. I'm not usually that big of a fan of the music in Dungeon Defenders, but the combat music for this map, I think it's all the Lost Quest maps. No, not the Lost Quest maps, the Shard maps. Eternia Shard maps. I think the combat for these maps is all the same, and I quite like it. So I think we're more than capable to, straight away after doing all the quest maps and unlocking Crystalline Dimension, we should just be good to run it straight away, so that's what I'm going to be doing. Free-range Chicken Monk should be well equipped. And it's only normal CD, so... Or it's only the normal old one, I should say. It's not particularly difficult. We're only going to be doing it with one player HP scaling as well, so that makes it even easier. Free range chicken does a pretty ridiculous amount of HP. HP? Yeah, damage. Should be a breeze. Now, if this is your first time doing... I mean, the first time doing these maps with the stats that I have shouldn't be hard for anyone. I imagine it would be, like, actually a challenge to lose these maps with the stats I have. If you actually know what you're doing on the bosses. Specifically the boss for Sky City and the boss for Crystalline Dimension. Those are the only two I would say are, you know, difficult. You need to know sort of the mechanics of the fight to be successful. But as for Okonos, this map and Morago, you can just brute force it with stats, basically. Especially this one. The Spider Queen doesn't have any kind of specific mechanics you have to watch out for. It's just deal a lot of damage. Now, as the end goal for doing all of these maps is to eventually do the Crystalline Resurgence maps, I do have some plans for how I'm going to be doing that, because those are some of the most difficult maps in the game, and to be doing them... Whoops. To be doing them as early as I want to be doing it requires some specific strategies. So the first map, the first Crystalline Resurgence map, has a excuse me, a Spider Queen, but she's extremely difficult, very tanky, does a lot of damage. But I'm not too worried, because you can kind of just abuse the Spider Queen AI, get her stuck on the core. She'll sort of run up to the crystal, and instead of trying to walk around it, just try run throughing it to whatever is aggroing her. So I'm going to deploy that strategy. And, you know, doing it that way, you can just kill her with towers. Might take quite a while, but it's going to be possible. Just means that the rest of the build can't fail. And the Crystalline Resurgence maps are maps that you don't really, you know, do more than once. We're not going to be farming any of those maps. We're just going to be looking to complete them once for Eternal Defender. So I do not care about running those maps with extra characters in, or doing a fast build, or anything like that. We're going to be playing extremely safe. Just to get a completion. There are obviously some maps we will need to farm to be able to get to that point, though. Oh, Darkness Trap went down. But the maps we need to farm are mainly armor. We need better... Well, we don't... Actually, at this point in the game, our builder stats are more than capable of running every map in the game. But I would like them a little bit better. So I might do some more armor farming once we get to maps like Infested Ruins and, well, just Infested Ruins, really. I think once I unlock the survival for Infested, that's the only place I'll be armor farming for the rest of the series. But as for weapons and DPS stats, that's a completely different matter. For weapons, I'm going to be wanting a Spear of the New Kingdom on my monk. Honestly, if I just get a good Spear of the New Kingdom for my monk, I don't need any other weapon. There's no other DPS weapon that I really think I need to be using. Yeah, I mean, I could use a honey spear, actually. So probably if I do more armor farming, I'll have monks in for the last wave, so I get a honey spear. But that really isn't... I'm not really too bothered about that. A good Spear of the New Kingdom is what I'm looking for my monk. And as for pets, well, we have the one we're going to be using the most. This free-range chicken is going to carry us through a lot of DPS content, I'm imagining. But other than that... Oh, and the Spear of the New Kingdom comes from ToE, that's why we need this free-range chicken to farm ToE. Tomb of Etheria, that is. But other than that, the only other... Well, actually, I would rather a little wizard for ToE than this free range. The little wizard performs a lot better. The extra range is really nice. And the little wizard is from Spooktacular Bay on Survival. So it's more so that we need the free range chicken to sort of help complete the Spooktacular campaign more than anything. How much tower boost? 600 tower boost on this character, okay. Not great. Oh, it looks like the Darkness Trap just died. That's probably more likely than it getting desummoned. So yeah, other than free-range chicken and little wizard, I can't see myself... So free-range chicken, little wizard, and a poly, I think, are the 3 DPS pets that are going to be most helpful. Also, you can press V to skip boss timers. I don't remember if that was something that got officially, like, just put into the game without you having to do anything. But it might be something you have to add in the files, in the CDT settings. But there, as you can see, oh boy, achievements. And I unlocked a skin, apparently. Oh, I never put my fishing pole back on. You know what? We might as well equip this leg of the Spider Queen. Does give us some stats. Actually, a decent amount of HP. Well, that's Wintermire. Pretty easy. Next map is going to be Morago.